On. And then we are recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of Timeline to Succeed in Love. I'm very excited to have you guys. We're supposed to have a little bit more people, but they're going to be logging in hopefully in a few minutes. So today and tonight, actually, I'm very proud to be working in partnership with our dating coach, Yani Gantz, and she's going to enlighten us with a lot of her knowledge in dating in the 21st century, because yes, we entered the 21st century already. What we're going to do is we're going to ask each and everyone here to be able to introduce themselves first and answer one very important question. How do you feel that this seminar is going to help you in your future when it comes to dating? So first you're going to introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and then you're going to answer that question. Again, the question is, how do you feel that this seminar is going to be able to help you understand what a toxic relationship is and how it's going to help you in the future? So we're going to start with Mike, and after that, at the end, me and Yani are going to introduce ourselves. So go ahead, Mike, start with you.
All right, well, my name is Mike. I live right outside Bethesda, Maryland, and I'm pretty much totally new to relationships, but I'm proud to announce that I'm actually getting into my very first relationship right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The winner here. Nice.
I just found someone very recently, and we've really hit it off. So, I just want to make sure, I'm off to a good start with my first relationship, and I'm just here to get, just general advice so I don't, screw it up the first time.
Beautiful. I'm sure that you will not screw it up because you're going to...
I'm sure you won't.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate your response. Andrea, go ahead. Your turn.
Andrea, I'm from Northern Virginia, and it kind of threw me off because I've never really been in a toxic relationship.
Okay.
I have been in successful relationships, but as I've gotten older, they seem harder to come by. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or whether just the numbers aren't in my favor.
Okay, so do you feel that those toxic, well, you didn't have any toxic relationship, but those that were successful, how come you're single now then, if they were successful, in terms of what?
Well, one was a long distance relationship, so we grew apart.
Okay.
I think another one was the person I was with wasn't ready to commit.
Okay.
But up until that point, it was successful. I guess he got scared feet or something.
Okay, yeah, which happens a lot with men. Well, thank you very much, Andrea. We'll be able to elaborate a little bit more further on. Mr. Clint, your turn, sir.
Okay, hi, everybody. I'm Clint Cole, and I think I made it to the first one. So this is I think the second out of 3.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm from the New York, New England area, but I've been down here for a while in the DC area. So, I think it's a good series. And if I recall, I was in the first session, and I think you said you were going to highlight that. And so I just wanted to see what the second session was all about. And I've even got the third one on my calendar. So I'm looking forward to it.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
What do you feel, Clint, about answering the question regarding how does this seminar is going to help you regarding to avoid toxic relationship in the future, or if you had some in the past?
Well, I certainly had some in the past, including my former spouse. And so I'd like to be able to identify the red flags to avoid that kind of situation in the past, including anything that I might contribute to it, but also just to try to be maybe more observant, know what to look out for, and especially if they have a narcissistic personality disorder or something where they're purposely hiding how they really are, and until you get into a relationship. So anyway, so I'm trying to get educated here. So
excellent. And we'll make sure to educate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Marcelina, your turn. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know what you're calling toxic relationship. I'm trying to understand what is toxic relationship. But I live in Laurel, and I've had relationships that I kind of walked away from.
Okay.
Because of their attitude or because of their wandering eyes.
Okay.
The major thing is wandering eyes.
Yes.
How do you identify a man with wandering eyes?
Okay.
Disrespectful.
Very.
Huh?
A man with wandering eyes, I consider it very disrespectful. What do you think, Dan? I know how she feels from what I hear, what she's trying to say. Wandering eyes, I'm guessing that what you're meaning is that when the person was with you, was constantly looking at something else.
Correct.
Or at someone else or whoever. Was that what it was?
When the person is with me, they are still looking at other people, you know, keeping up other relationship, you know.
Oh no.
And I don't think I like that. And I don't think that I want to accept that.
No one likes
I recently started a new relationship.
Okay.
So far, it's going well. So at this point, I said, okay, maybe this event will teach me how to tolerate and not be so suspicious and try to understand what the person is doing. Does he have wandering eyes or not?
We will cover that. I promise. No problem, Rosalina. Thank you very much. Renee, your turn.
Hi, I'm Renee. I'm from Texas, and I have been in a toxic relationship before, and I am in a new relationship now, and there are some red flags of on both of our ends of toxicity, and some of it is coming from the past, like we both have triggers, and because of that, I'm here tonight wondering how I can navigate any triggers, how I can heal myself of past trauma and move forward and make this a healthy relationship, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Chances are that in our session, we'll be able to just scratch the surface because this is such a huge topic and we would need to be on Zoom for 9 hours to be able to cover everything. Unfortunately, we do not have 9 hours, so we will probably cover a big portion tonight, and the remaining, which is the conclusion, is going to be done in February, which is the third part of this series. So we'll do our best to cover as much as we can. Now, Yani, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Sure. So my name is Yani Gantz. I am a life coach specializing in dating and relationships, and a businesswoman as well. And I enjoy helping others. That's why I became a coach. And I myself went through, for example, a series of toxic relationships. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to go into dating and relationships, because it's so common, it's so easy to fall into a toxic relationship. And it's obviously very unhealthy and it causes trauma. And that's the topic that we're going to be talking tonight. So it's perfect. And I hope that you all get something, learn something tonight that can prevent you from falling into a toxic relationship or help you to get out of a toxic relationship.
Beautiful. And finally, my name is Dr. Dan, and I'm a cognitive behavior psychotherapist. I deal with situations just like toxic relationship, with narcissistic personality disorder. I deal with marriage counseling, with depression, anxiety, basically a long list of mental illnesses as well, dissociative identity disorder, anger management, and so on and so forth. So I'm very, very excited to partner up with Yani. We're going to give you two aspects of how toxic relationship is very, very dangerous mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And how we're going to work in the psychological aspect, which I will cover, and the dating aspect, which Yani is going to cover. And remember, you guys are the source, the core of this event. So Yani and I sometimes are very tired to hear each other talk. So we would like also you guys to ask questions and how our information would be relevant on how you guys can be able to know and determine what a toxic relationship is. Now, Marcelina, originally she asked what is a toxic relationship? So I'm going to ask Yani to be able to answer that question. And then we're going to jump right into the subject. And hopefully we'll be able to give you more and more information as we go on. But we're not going to be able to do this for more than an hour. So Yani, go ahead. Let's start with what is a toxic relationship based on your perspective.
A toxic relationship is a relationship that drains you in a negative way. It drains you emotionally, it drains you mentally. It's a relationship where you're not comfortable. It's a relationship that I can compare to pushing an old car versus running a new car. Instead of having a smooth travel or a smooth drive, imagine yourself pushing an old car to make it work, to make it move. It's very different from the healthy relationship where everything flows naturally, where you both complement and grow together, and everything just seems to be great, and you're happy with each other and you enjoy each other's company. The toxic relationship is exactly the opposite. It's almost like you're forcing the relationship to exist because it doesn't thrive. It feels like it's so hard to maintain. It's like you're walking on eggshells. And I actually, like I said, I went through different toxic relationships, and I tried to make it work like many of us do before we realize that, first of all, we're not here to change anyone. Second of all, there's a plan. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, there's a plan for all of us. And there are certain things that you just can't force. And a toxic relationship feels like you're forcing it. And many times, our intuition, our natural instincts, they warn you, they poke you constantly. Your your thoughts are telling you that things are not right, that something is very wrong. Yet we're still trying, we're still making it work, we're still forcing it because we want it to work, because we're creatures of habit and we fear the unknown, and we make excuses to ourselves to believe that it's better to stay where you are than to not find anything alike or better, which is a tremendous lie. So I made a small list of things that I want you to keep in mind when you're in a relationship, because if you're going through these things, you're definitely in a toxic relationship. So the number one to me is respect. If there's no respect in a relationship, there cannot be a healthy relationship. Respect and boundaries is the first point, okay? Number two, does the relationship suffocates you? Are you dating or are you in a relationship with someone that makes you feel like you have to change half of yourself, that makes you feel like whatever you do or you say is usually wrong, that makes you feel like this person is important, he or she, and you are secondary? Is it suffocating you? Are you having to work so hard on it to be able to make it work? Because your partner is so sensitive that almost anything triggers a problem or a conflict. So if you feel suffocated, you're not in the right relationship. Please don't force it. We're not here to change each other. There's someone out there for you, the right person. And that relationship with that person will feel like a very nice and smooth ride in the newest and the best car that you can ever drive. Okay? The next one. Do you feel like you have to compromise your core values, which is very related to the one that I was talking about, suffocating, or your life goals? This person wants to shadow you. This person wants to silence you, like not allow you to be yourself, not allow you to reach your goals because doesn't agree with you, or wants to drag you along, not walk with you. Is that how you feel? The next one, do you feel stuck? Which is very similar to the being suffocated. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you can't progress? The right relationship, the right partner is supposed to help you thrive, not make you stuck. Okay? Is that partner very controlling, very jealous, violent? Again, we're not here to change anyone. So if you're dealing with someone that has problems from probably childhood, that all of a sudden turns into a beast, that all of a sudden turns into someone else and humiliates you in public and disrespects you and pushes you around or physically abuses you, are you ready to spend the rest of your life with someone that has a problem? I call it a problem because it is. And many times it's not their fault. This is what they have to deal with. You don't have to deal with this. And it's very hard when you have all these things that you're dragging from childhood, traumas, habits, what you've learned, what you were taught. It could be cultural, it could be even genetics. Are you ready to give up happiness just to be with someone that has these traits, that is violent, that is a liar, that is a cheater, that, what else, that is unfaithful? Are you ready? That's the question. That is the big question. And then, is your partner constantly putting you down? Do you want to be with someone that constantly makes you feel like you're not smart enough, that he or she is always above, that is always smarter, and that you are, again, like a tail? You are secondary. You're not as important. And that's how he or she makes you feel. Definitely not. Everything is about them and nothing about you. You want to be in a relationship like this? I wouldn't want to be in a relationship like this. This is all toxic, because a relationship is supposed to be positive. It's supposed to help you thrive and progress in life, not the other way around.
Also, Clint,
Do you feel uncomfortable?
sorry,
Yes,
this is
Dan.
a sign of narcissistic personality disorder.
There you go.
This is an NPD issue. Always want to be elevated, always putting you down, so you are lower than them in every aspect of your life. So this is, I just want to add that, Yani.
Yes, yes. So if you feel like this in a relationship, you shouldn't be tolerating a relationship like this, because the truth is, you don't have to. You really don't have to. And I think it's better to be alone than in a bad company.
That's true.
Personally, is it easy? Not many times. But if you really think about it, it's better. The next one. So you don't want to feel uncomfortable with your partner. Do you live in fear? Do you live in fear that any little thing is a problem? That any little thing is going to trigger that beast or that monster in him or her? That's toxic. It doesn't matter how much this person loves you. It doesn't mean that this person doesn't love you. If this person is different than you, if this person has personal issues, it has nothing to do with the love that he or she has for you. It has nothing to do. And what happens many times is that we fall into a cycle, which is a toxic cycle. It's like a roller coaster, because there are positive things in the relationship and there are not negative things. And so after the negative things, when the person is the one being violent and over controlling you and make you feel uncomfortable, they know that they do have a problem many times. They also know that they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to change. They know that this is how they are, but they still want to be with you. So they will try whatever they can to keep you. They will lie to you. They will buy you out. They will take you on a trip. They will buy you gifts. They will buy you flowers. They will cry to you. They will throw themselves on the floor. Whatever, I swear, I beg you, they will do. It's true. They did it to me many times. I have seen men cried a lot. And they did love me very much. But it wasn't enough. They really wanted to be different, but they couldn't. And I was too young. But many times it happens to people that are older, in their 50s, in their 60s. It could happen anytime. It depends where you are in life. Emotionally, where are you? Are you happy? Are you lonely? Are you vulnerable? What's going on in your life? When I talk to singles or people who are in toxic relationships, I tell them before bringing someone into your life, you need to find what makes you happy. You need to build a foundation in your life that helps you thrive, and also that that attracts that perfect person, or that person that is actually what you dream to have as a partner, into your life. So focus on your life first, whether it's exercise, whether it's family, whether it's studies, whether it's growing like educationally. What is it that you can do, that you can change, so that you can build that foundation that is strong and that helps you thrive, and you're happy and you're brilliant, and you shine, and you can actually choose instead of being chosen, and you're not vulnerable and lonely and sad waiting for just someone to be with you. Dan?
Wow, that's very filling. Well, thank you very much, Yani. Now, I wanted to add a little bit more on what Yani said, because a toxic relationship is what we call a trigger to what is. Does everyone know what PTSD is? You're familiar with post-traumatic stress disorder? Okay, well, we have also what we call post-traumatic relationship syndrome. Okay, now post-traumatic relationship syndrome are those who actually suffered toxic relationship in the past. So I think this is going to be good information for Renee. These are a few things I want to share with you on how those past feelings will have direct impact on how you're going to move on to your future relationship, or present relationship, that is. So Yani was talking a lot about fear. Now, obviously, when you had a toxic relationship in the past, all your future one, you're always going to think that this person is going to be the exact same as the previous one. Well, no, we're different people. Everyone that you're going to meet are going to be different. Some of them also, they're going to be so nice that you're going to wonder what is their ulterior motive. So you're going to start constructing ideas in your mind where that person is genuinely a good person, but because you've been lied to, you've been cheated on, you've been emotionally abused, physically abused, sexually abused, and so on and so forth, you're going to think that everyone in the future are going to behave the exact same way. Well, take this idea off of your mind, because this is not the case. Also, because of your toxic relationship that Yani was talking about, you always have the tendency to feel isolated, because the person beforehand always shut you up. You were not allowed to say a word. You were not allowed to express yourself. You were not allowed to share your emotion, your thoughts, and so on and so forth. So because of that, it created loneliness. You're not able to expose your emotion to anyone, and not even to your boyfriend or spouse or whatever it is. So that in itself created this isolation. And as you all know, we've been isolated for 9 months because of this COVID. So you could just imagine how it is. The COVID was a virus, but this also, if you look at it this way, a toxic relationship is a virus. Okay? If you allow it to be able to stay within you, you're going to stay sick all the time that you're with this person. So they are a virus. And that's why you have to start taking some step forward to get away. Now, unfortunately, there's no vaccine for toxic relationship, but you get the idea on how to step away from it. Also, you're going to have the tendency to always apologize. And the reason why you will always have the tendency to apologize is because in toxic relationship, the spouse or the boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is, none of the thing they do is their fault. They're always going to point finger at you. Okay, so that in itself, you're going to always have to start looking for excuses as to why you behave it this way, even though it was not your fault. That doesn't matter anymore. It's all about what you did wrong and what they didn't do wrong. So you have to also let that go. And this is really crucial because um, if you allow yourself to always apologize, the new person is going to start adapting this toxic behavior towards you. They're going to say, oh, look at that, another victim. And they're going to start behaving this way. So don't give them the idea that you lack confidence. Don't give them the idea that you have low self-esteem. Don't give them any of those. Okay, this is something very, very crucial. Also, when it comes to when you go on to an unhealthy or a new relationship, that is, you will start building some past emotions that you will bring with you, just like those people who have dealt with narcissistic personality disorder. You're going to always think that the next person is going to be narcissistic, and whatever action or behavior they step on, even though it's something that any other normal relationship would not think this to be a big deal, you will look at it and you will build that red flag that is not even there. But because you've dealt with someone who's narcissistic, you're going to think that this person is. Okay. So again, stay away from that. Chances are those who are suffering from post-traumatic relationship syndrome, they're going to also have nightmares, a lot of those. Okay. Even during the new relationship, you're going to think that this person is going to be haunting your mind. There's going to be, and sometimes the dreams or nightmares from past relationship are going to come and repeat themselves just because of a certain red flag that triggered you to be able to dream this way. Okay. Now remember, this is your subconscious mind that kicks in. You want to be able to reboot your mind. Do not allow yourself to be able to bring the toxic, negative, I would say, memory into the new one. And you have to change your cognitive behavior to be able to start thinking in a positive way. Unfortunately, people do not have that capability because unfortunately they've been dealing with so much toxicity and so much negativity from their past relationship that they don't allow themselves to be able to educate themselves or even go see a therapist. Okay, that's the one thing that people need to be able to kind of like let things go. And I always compare therapy with, like, I don't know if anyone knows the city of New York. When the time comes to be able to get rid of the garbage outside, if there's a garbage strike, garbage are going to pile up and pile up and pile up. And then it's going to be just a big mess on the street. Imagine what happens in your mind. The same thing. So if you do not let things go, if you do not talk to someone, a therapist, a good friend, whatever it is, you're going to allow the garbage to continue piling up into your mind, and then it's just going to explode. And then you're going to go to dealing with anxiety, depression, and the list goes on and on. So you want to avoid that. Try to be proactive. This is something really essential. Now, we're going to have to also step into something very important, because when I just mentioned what is the post-traumatic relationship syndrome, this is something that you have to also do. This is to continue what Yani said. If you're in a toxic relationship, when do you know that enough is enough? Because some relationships are salvageable. They can be fixed. But like Yani said, some of them is you better get the hell out of there and fast. There's no way out. There's no exit unless if you decide to be able to take the step forward, put your fear aside, and leave the relationship. So when do you say, or when do you think that enough is enough? So I'm going to reiterate a few points that Yani said, and after that, Yani is going to share with us a little bit more details on how to be able to go into a healthy relationship. So for example, if you dealt with emotional abuse is worse than sexual abuse, because emotional abuse will stay on in your mind for years to come. Sexual abuse and physical abuse, you can heal, okay? Because it's mostly physical. Emotional will stay with you for a long, long time. So you want to be able to kind of like make sure that if this relationship provides or makes you go through a lot of emotional abuse, this is something to get the hell out of. The sexual abuse, obviously, as well, you cannot need to deal with it. Also, when you live in fear, if that person constantly puts you in a position of fear, you have to leave. because it's not worth it. It's going to bring a lot more trauma, and it's going to bring a lot more memories in which at a certain point you're not going to be able to fix yourself. Okay, so stay away from that at all point. It's also if you've been lied or cheated on. Now, in some cases that I have with my patients, I had the spouse cheated on the husband or vice versa. And at a certain point, they can also reconnect down the line. It's not completely out of the, it could be fixed to a certain extent, but you have to be willing to want it to be fixed. Because if you're not willing to put in the effort, leave. There's no point to be able to continue. It will become toxic later on. And then finally, if you are being put or if you're being secluded or isolated because this person is narcissistic, they don't allow you to be with friends, they don't allow you to be with family members or the outside world, leave. This is your way. This is like a man-made jail. Okay, you do not want to be there for the remaining of your life. So stay away, leave, and do whatever it takes to be able to rebuild your confidence. And you can do that. But if you continue being in this toxic relationship, like Yani was mentioning about, because of comfort and because you're too afraid of the unknown, but trust me, the unknown is going to be very scary. Okay, because you do not want to stay with someone who's going to always put you down and is going to destroy your self-esteem or whatever is left of it. Okay, so Yani, if you could,
I want to add something.
Oh, please.
Regarding that point. From personal experience and obviously observations throughout my life, which I feel like I have lived very fast, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I went through all of what I went through. So anyone you ask, why did you went through that relationship? Why did you tolerate it, such thing? Why are you tolerating such things? And I asked that myself many times, and obviously that was being asked to me too by people that were close to me. I realized what I was going through. And reality is that most relationships that are toxic, if not all, are a mixture of, like I said, positives and negatives. It's like a roller coaster. So after the storm, the calm comes, no? How do you say it? Like after the storm,
sunshine comes.
The sunshine comes. And we tend to forget what we went through. And then we go through the same stuff again. But again, this person tries to pull you out by changing everything back to what you like. And before we know it, we are in that cycle. And what a lot of people don't understand or don't work on is the process. A strong will, number one. We should always be in control of ourselves. And when we do lose control of ourselves out of love, out of fear, out of whatever it is, we need to get ourselves back in control of ourselves, because it's the only way that you can be successful in love in this case. And most people, just like I didn't want to go through, don't want to go through the pain of breaking an emotional bond with a partner. Because usually when we go through a toxic relationship, especially for a long time, is because there is love there. There's an emotional bond, okay? And we don't want to go through the separation because it's painful. It's almost like someone recovering from drugs. So imagine a drug addict. He doesn't want to go through the pain. And when they're going through the pain, a lot of times they relapse. They fall back into the drugs because they can't go through the process of cleansing, of detoxing, because it's painful. Just like an alcoholic, anyone who has an addiction is painful. We have a bond, an emotional bond. We're in love, we're comfortable. We don't want to leave our comfort zone. And then when we break, we know that this is not the right relationship. And we break it off, but that only lasts a few hours, maybe one day, possibly 1 week. and we get ourselves back. The first time he or she calls you, you run to that phone and you pick it up because you're hoping that he or she is going to apologize. And this time, everything is going to be different because he or she now is going to learn a lesson. What happens most of the time is that even if the person wants to change, they can't. So we keep falling back into the same pattern. And like I said, most people don't realize that there's a process that you have to go through, but it's worth it. It might be painful, it might be scary, and we think that we're not going to find anyone like this or better, but we're underestimating ourselves and the love that God has for us. We underestimate everything. We make ourselves so weak, so vulnerable, and so small. And that's exactly why we tolerate things that we shouldn't. And when is enough enough? Everyone has a different level of toleration. There are things that could change. There are bad habits that we can catch on time, and we can possibly, if both are in the same page, if this person realizes that indeed he or she is wrong and really wants to save the relationship, sometimes it's savable. But are you following your gut feeling? Did you fall out of love? Are you so disappointed that you know deep inside of you that the relationship will never be the same? It's just a fantasy. It's a dream. You wanted to be that way, but you know that it's not going to be that way. That's when enough is enough. You know when enough is enough because we all feel different about something. You know it. So if you know it, if you see it coming, first of all, if you see that the relationship is turning into something that you were not expecting, and this is exactly what I heard, and this is making me very uncomfortable, and this is suffocating me, and this is not what I want. Now is the time to leave. Now, even if it's difficult, because later it's only going to be more difficult. And if you find yourself in that dark place where I found myself many times, you need to rise yourself up. You need to remind yourself that you are stronger than what you think, and that God loves us, and we have all forces around us, including the universe and everything that we cannot even see, that is with us. But if you don't take that step and you don't say, I will cry and eat the walls and fight my demons, and I will cry to my friends, and I will talk to my family every day, whoever I can find as a support to help me go through this, I will make it. I will do it. You know why? Because I deserve better. And I know that I can get better. But again, your foundation, how is your self-esteem? If you're dating, if you're looking for love, if you're searching for love, how is your self-esteem? How is your confidence? Where are you? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And work on being the best of yourself and find all the help that you can possibly find. Because the more you rise yourself, the less you're going to tolerate a toxic person or a toxic relationship. But everything starts from you and your life. And guess what? When you are happy doing what you like to do, in living life the way that you want to live it, you are not going to allow anyone to break this beautiful life that you have built for yourself. You will have the strength and the eye to detect exactly what you don't like. You will have the strength to say, no, you're not good for me. Because you are happy, you're thriving, you know what you're worth, and you're happy as you are, single. So when someone comes break that beautiful life that you built for yourself, you won't allow it. So that's exactly what I want you to work on, all of you, to make yourself happy, whether it's a healthier diet, whether it's more entertainment, more family time, more friends, more traveling, exercising, whatever it is. But please first get ready, because love can be very painful. And it doesn't have to be. It's the truth. It doesn't have to be, but it's in your hands. My rabbi, I'm Jewish, so my rabbi always tells me, you take a step and you let God do his work. But if you don't take your step and you don't do your work, he can't do his. So we should always keep it in mind.
And the same goes, Yani, for the laws of attraction, ladies and gentlemen. The laws of attraction also work for relationship, not just in your career or anything of that sort. It's also your relationship. So you know that thoughts become things. But a lot of people, if they do not allow the action and behavior to go in between the thoughts and the things, they will never become anything, or they will only become toxic. So the laws of attraction, you attract what you think. If you think that you do not have a great esteem, you're going to attract people who's going to treat you like crap. If you don't take action towards believing in yourself, you're not going to achieve anything. And your relationship are going to get worse and worse and worse as you go on. And then you're going to lose completely confidence in any good person out there. And chances are you're going to miss out on the opportunity to be able to meet an amazing person. So those laws of attraction are crucial. As Yani was saying, you think about something and you let the universe take over and be able to help you put the pieces of puzzle together. If the pieces of the puzzle are completely shredded, just like a broken egg, chances are you cannot fix that. You're gonna have to be able to go and be the glue of whatever broke in your life and to be able to bring it back together. And as you bring it back together, you will know the mistakes that you've made. You will know how to not make them again. Okay. Remember, fail, the word fail is an acronym, which means first attempt in learning. Okay. So you want to be able to fail as much as you can to be able to learn how to get the right relationship. Okay. So overall, you're going to be able to, you're going to break a lot of eggs. Trust me, you're going to eat a lot of omelets. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to be horrible. Okay. But the thing is that at the end, you will know how to make the perfect omelet. Okay.
It takes practice.
It takes practice. Exactly.
And you know what? Breaking an emotional bond, it also takes practice.
Yeah.
When you do it a couple of times, it's much easier.
Absolutely. And
if it doesn't work, bye, next.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is that for some people, as you mentioned, Yani, it affects people in a different way when it comes to how you're being treated and what are the red flags to be able to leave a bad relationship. Some, for example, my red flags may be different than what Yani's red flag would be. I may tolerate more things that she may because she already experienced worse situation than I did, in which she will sense some red flags to not be flexible. She will not be flexible for them. She's going to be saying, no, if this happened, hasta la vista, baby. I don't want to. Next. For me, I might say, you know what? That doesn't bother me. So it's just a question of how you perceive the situation, while others may perceive it differently. But don't compare yourself to others. You are on your own path, and this is yours. You're running against yourself. There's no competition. You are on your own, and you are the one who's walking this path to your destination. This is your journey, not Yani's, not Andrea, not mine, not Anu, not Mike. This is yours. Okay. So you want to be able to make sure that you will live the best life you can. Okay. So for
be happy.
And be happy. So for the past 30 minutes, Yani and I have been only talking negative. Okay, about what's toxic relationship, how to.
I want to say something positive very quick.
Yeah, well, that's my question, Yani. Now what I want to ask you, what are the pillars, okay, of a healthy relationship? Now people are fed up to hear the negative, so give us a little bit of positive here.
Number one, respect. Okay. Any relationship, friendship, family, love, romantic relationship, if there's no respect, there cannot be a healthy relationship. Respect is one. Number two is partnership. It's all about the two of you. You both care about each other in a way where you both hold each other, and it's the two of you rising up and growing together, and living your lives together and enjoying everything together and going through the bads and the goods and the greats together. Is a partnership. If you're in a relationship where you don't feel the support and the love of your partner, this is not the right relationship. Partnership is extremely important. Communication. Try to have the best communication that you can possibly have. Every relationship has its bumps. Nothing is perfect, as we know. But being willing and having a good communication is not great. It's amazing, and it's a pillar. If you don't have a good communication, a relationship cannot thrive, cannot be healthy. And obviously love. Love is extremely important, but in a toxic relationship, you also have love most of the time. That's why you tolerate. So respect, the best communication you can possibly have, a great partnership, and love. Those are my 4 pillars.
Now, I'm going to ask, now I think it's time a little bit to ask question to, or for the crowd and the attendees to ask us question. Because I think, like I said, as we are soon approaching the end of the seminar, we will keep the remaining topic for part 3, in which is going to be something that's going to be a summary of all basically part that we had in the beginning and the mid one. So I'm going to ask everyone here, whoever wants to raise their hand or take the stand and let us know what of what we said today or tonight was beneficial to you, or are we completely off track?
I have a better one, Dan, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
I want to hear questions, personal questions that can help you, that would help you, that would help us provide you with the information that you might need for something very specific that you're thinking right now, and that you need, and that we can provide to you, and that is valuable for you tonight. Those are the questions that I want to hear. How can I help you? How can Dan help you? This is the moment. We're here for you.
The floor is yours. So anything that we said that you agree or disagree on?
Mike looks like he disagrees.
No, I agree with everything you guys said. I don't really have any questions yet. I'm going to try to formulate one on my own, but no, I think everything you guys touched on sounds great.
Okay. Is there something that you expected to hear in this seminar that we didn't cover?
No, not really. I think you did a pretty good job of explaining, what is a good relationship, what is a toxic relationship. So.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Clint, I know that you've dealt with a narcissistic spouse in the past. I know that you participated at the part 1, which we talked about the red flags of toxic relationship. Do you feel that this second portion of this seminar, did it fill any other gap or any other question that we didn't cover in the past?
Well, I think some good advice for all of us on the kinds of characteristics of relationships to get out of, and Dan, you mentioned maybe there are some that you can try to tolerate or fix or adjust to, but you can't change somebody else. So you have to, really assess whether it's something you can work out or not. But I guess this question that's still bugging me is, particularly when you're dealing with a narcissistic personality disordered person, and they are specifically hiding the way their true nature is. And so you become emotionally invested in them, with them. And of course, it gets really complicated if you have children together and then you're trying to stay together for the children. But I guess my real question, and try to avoid that again in the future, is are there tests? How can you test somebody? Can you find out? How can you find out if, how can you determine if they are an authentic person? If the way they're acting now is the way they really are, so that you can avoid getting involved with an NPD person in the first place?
That's a very good question, Clint. Well, let me tell you one thing. Narcissistic people are professionals. Okay? They know how to manipulate people. They have this sense where they, first of all, they show no empathy. So if you see someone that, or if you hear the way they talk, and sometimes the word they choose can allow you to determine if this person is dealing either with narcissistic grandiose, vulnerable narcissism, which there's different spectrum, just like autistic, okay? Certain level, like Asperger is a high level functional autistic person. So the same goes with the level of narcissistic, okay? Some people, like for example, I have some narcissistic patients that came to me because they know that they have a problem. Narcissistic people don't do that. So I know they are in the vulnerable side of narcissism, which means that they're aware of their problem and they want to fix it. But or else if someone always accuses you to being the culprit of everything that's going wrong in their lives or in your life, you know that they are narcissistic. Now, again, it depends on what the extreme or what kind of behavior they adapt every single day. But you will notice it's like gaslighting, what they do in their behavior. Everything is your fault. Everything is you. You're the one who's crazy. You're the one who's that, and so on and so forth. So that is some of the triggers that will allow you to know that this person is dealing with narcissistic personality disorder. So to answer your question, you're gonna have to do a lot of digging, okay? And the way that you dig is when you ask them questions and you put them in situation so you could determine and evaluate their behavior. And that's the only way for you to do that, because they will try to hide it. Because narcissistic people, they do not want to show their true behavior in the fear that you're going to abandon them. They could not tolerate to be abandoned. They have to be the one abandoning the other person. That's the
I
way.
want to make it simpler, Dan,
Go ahead.
because I dated one narcissistic horribly. And I will tell you how I resolved the problem, because it's a problem. If their words don't match their actions, to me, that's a huge red flag. There's nothing to say. If you are promising me, but you're not delivering, there's a problem. Something is not right. Because when someone is honest and true to themselves, they deliver what they say. They tell you, I love you. They show it with actions. Words are just the beginning. You can't believe everything that is said to you. And that's what I learned. I could hear the most beautiful things, and I would say, I'm waiting. In my mind, I'll be like, okay, I'm waiting for the actions now. I want to see whether you're real or you are faking it. Number one. Number two, is the person always the same? Or is this person always changing plans, changing everything, constantly adapting into something else? Because this is not a normal behavior. Something is not right. Why would you want to be with someone that can't stick to the plan? Why would you want to be with someone that promises you that you're going to get engaged within 6 months if everything goes right, and at the 5th month is telling you that his brother is getting married and he doesn't want to take out of the light? He doesn't want to take from the light of his brother's wedding, from the happiness and the celebration. So let's wait for him first to get married and then we do. So they always find the excuse to keep manipulating you into what they want. In my case, not really to get married, but to keep stretching the relationship as long as he could, because that's what they want to do. They want to have someone that they can drag, that they can control, that they can use, but they don't really have much feelings for you. They only care about themselves and themselves only. So that's how you see it. Words against actions. If the actions don't match the words, something is very wrong. This person is not honest or doesn't know what he or she wants, which is a problem. You want someone that knows what he or she wants. Because if you're dealing with someone who's confused, who's always turning into a different person, you're only going to go into a toxic relationship. You're going to drive yourself crazy. He or she is going to drive you crazy. So that's how you know right away. If I would have known in 3 months, I would have break it off. If I would have known all of this, I would have said something is very wrong here. I didn't know, so I just went along and I tried to please and I tried to make it work. And I was patient, like everyone was telling me to be. Be patient, you know, tolerate, make it work, make it work. You're a woman, you must make it work. If you're smart, you can always make things happen. It doesn't work that way. Not for a woman, not for a man.
Did we answer
The right person is an open book. Everything is exactly what you see. What you see is what you get. There's no games, there's no manipulation, there's no transformation into a different person every time. There's none of that. And that's what you should be aiming for.
Clint, did we answer the question? You're muted.
He's muted.
Yes, you did, both of you. Thank you both very much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Clint. Any other question before we conclude? It's already 9:02. Okay, so we have 10 more minutes. So anyone here has any question? Mike, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I have a question. It took me a minute to write it, but I got it now.
Good.
So how do you know when you're really being your true self in a relationship? Like, how do you know you're really being authentic and open and vulnerable with that person? Do you sometimes feel like, you know, maybe you're afraid of showing your true self to that person, even when you know that they really like you for who you are? Like, how do you know that you're really being your true self?
Are you proud of who you are, Mike?
I am.
You are? Have you done anything in the past that you are ashamed of?
Not really, no.
Not really. Do you feel that this present relationship that you entered in, do you feel that she's genuine with you?
Absolutely.
Then you be genuine with her?
I also have an answer.
Go for it.
You know, when you are being yourself, when you feel free.
Not afraid.
You're not afraid. You can act comfortably. You are yourself. You feel it. When we're in a relationship, we have to listen to our feelings, if it's right to say. Listen to yourself. You can feel it. It all starts from feelings. You feel free. You're happy. You're thriving. You're not afraid. It just runs.
It comes
Everything's
naturally.
smooth.
It comes naturally.
Yes.
No effort.
Everything is natural. You don't have to be faking. You don't have to be trying to be someone else to please someone. You feel free. That's how you know you're being yourself.
If you start changing identities, Mike, this is when you have to go see a therapist.
Please, no.
No.
There might be another personality there.
No.
Yeah, you want to be able to be who you are. And if you start looking for words when you communicate with that new love, then you know that you're starting to be afraid.
You don't have to.
That you're choosing because you're afraid of her.
Don't have to.
Don't do that. Yes, Andrea.
Andrea, go ahead.
Unmute yourself, please. Go
there
ahead.
we go. I'm just curious about what the next session is again, because honestly, I think you gave very good information, but I just did not have those experiences to relate directly to what you were saying. So as I guess I'm trying to figure out if I should come to the other, because if it's more about toxic relationships, I'm not there.
Well, no. Well, remember this seminar, I would say this series. Um, we always had the topic was timeline to succeed in love. Okay, but we always have had to base ourselves on what happened in the past to avoid bringing everything into the present and pushing it into the future. That's why we did like back to the future theme. Okay. So ideally, what the conclusion, which is going to be next session, we will be able to kind of like do a summary, be able to see what are the triggers or what are the signs that you have to avoid getting into a new relationship. And if those signs are dangerous for you, is how to be able to be proactive and know that if this is something that is not healthy, you're not going to jump into it just because you're lonely and just because you have to look for a relationship. Okay, but we're going to have, obviously, Yani and I, we always do a very thorough research, but we still have to continue with the same theme. We cannot detach ourselves from it. And as you can see, you came in because we don't know the people who signed up for this seminar, Andrea. We don't know who had toxic relationship. We thought that those who got those tickets is because they experienced it. And that's why the topic is as such. But if you didn't deal with toxic relationship in the past, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to deal with toxic relationship in the future.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I won't.
Hopefully not.
I know what to look for.
But you know,
I don't.
but yeah, but you know what? Like he said, we're trying to talk from, I will tell you, in order to have a healthy relationship and thrive in love, you need to have clarity, focus, boundaries, and personal work, always working on being the best version of yourself. So if we're coming from the past into the future, the number one thing is clarity. So we want you all to know as much as possible what you need to know to have a clear path in front of you, to know exactly what you want and you want to avoid. And if you did, in your case, you didn't, but all information is always good. This information that you learned tonight, you can use with other people that you know, maybe younger, like your niece, like someone starting to live their life, that come to you and say, this is happening, what can I do? Or you see her suffering or him suffering over a relationship, and you go into it and he or she starts telling you about what's going on, and you will remember tonight. And then my words will be your words. You understand? It's all wisdom.
And you could share
it's all things we learn. And then we go into focus next time. What's your focus? What do you want, and how are you gonna go about? So you can get to your final destination, what you want, your personal goal in love.
And if you have to follow,
you understand?
The last session, or the part 3 is going to be like jumping into the DeLorean and going into the future. So we're going to go and predict what possible relationship may be in the future. So part 1 was the past, part 2 is the present, and part 3 is going to be the future.
Next one is focus on personal work.
Yes.
And so obviously tips, whatever we can help you with, to go for it. Go for it, whatever you're looking for. Because if you have a plan and you know how to execute it and you're prepared, you will win. That's just how it works in any aspect. But you have to arm yourself with the right stuff, with the right knowledge. Is your armor in this case for you to win the battle.
And we are,
because bad relationships could be a battle. And it could be, like I told Andrea, it could be you going through it. In your case, thank God you didn't. And you know you're not going to go through it because you're not going to tolerate none of that. But you can help other people, maybe family members, people that don't know, that are naive, that are too young. So my words can be your words. His words can be your words. And that can help other people. And that's the point here. That's the goal.
And our job is to be able to provide you with the information that you need so you could help others And you, like she said, you're gonna always remember what we talked about this session. So that will give you some kind of aspect or an idea on how you can help your friends or your family, your niece, your nephews, whatever it is. So you're lucky, Andrea, that you've not dealt with toxic relationship. You're extremely lucky, but a lot of people have dealt with them. So we're talking about to the majority, because it's really odd that you've not dealt
It's
with
very common.
that. Honestly.
I'm
Anyone else?
glad you didn't go through it.
Yes. Anyone else in the room? Marcelina, Renee, Ilana, Anu? You are, Anu, you are actually, your volume is not on. We cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, now we hear you. Go ahead.
Now we hear you.
Oh, yes. Hi. I came late to the session. When is the next session?
It's going to be February 25th.
February 25th?
Yes. It's going to be next month, the end of the month. So we try to space them out. We tried to do this one in December, but we had, Miss Yani had a sore throat and she lost her voice. So we had
and
to.
Still, it's not completely back. It's
Yeah, here you go. So we had to push it for this month. But yeah, it's going to be next month for the conclusion. But after that, we're going to have other kind of themes that we're going to have more seminars, but it's not going to be like the trifecta like we're doing now.
And I got, am I still on?
Yeah, you're still on. Go ahead, Annie.
I got enormous amount because I am a narcissist, abused by a narcissist, and I've been out for 20 days.
Okay.
And I got enormous amount of what both you were saying. I have one question, but I don't know if I have time. So
go ahead, please, Anu. Yeah.
You have.
I wonder if I purposely didn't do the things that this person wanted me to do. And I keep wondering, I mean, I kind of still sometimes wonder why I didn't. And I just wonder if you have anything you can piggyback on that, why I did some things that the person kept telling me, and I purposely knew what the person didn't want me to do. This isn't about this person, but it's about me. So if you could.
When you have to elaborate a little bit more, or is it a very sensitive subject that you do not want to give more information?
No, like if the person says, hey, don't speak when I'm trying to do this, and I always did, it's like I'm trying to understand why I did that.
I wanna answer her.
Please, thank you.
Anu, I dated for over a year a tremendous narcissist.
Yes.
And I will tell you, that I understand your point, and I will remind you that we can't change people, and many times we can't change ourselves either, because it took us years to become who we are. I will tell you what happened in my case. My voice is affected still. It's come back and forth a couple of times. Due to my business, I'm between meetings and clients, I'm talking all day long because of the volume. And my voice is it's not used to it, so it's been affected. Mm-hmm. But I'm Cuban and I'm very loud. Like my voice is loud. I'm not, like some people speak very like that. I don't.
Yes,
I'm very vocal and I'm very loud to a lot of people. In my culture, the one that talks the loudest is the one that you hear, Like my husband is American and he says to me, are you guys arguing? I'm like, no, we're discussing a topic. We're not arguing. But see, he always picked on my voice. So he always wanted me to talk in a lower tone, which was very, very hard for me.
Exactly.
But what he was really trying to do was to suppress me, to make himself higher than me, to make me feel that I had a problem. I was controlling, according to him, too controlling because of my culture. My husband now is American, more American than he is actually, born here. And it wasn't until I met my husband that I realized how much this man was trying to damage me purposely. And it took me a long time to realize what was behind all of that. I had no idea. So you are you. No one can come and say, I want you to be different overnight, like FedEx. overnight. Like I'm going to pay $20 and overnight I'm going to get what I want. You are you. And there are things that you might have want to change, but you can't, because this is what makes you you.
Exactly.
So what happens is, like I said, you're forcing a relationship, and you cannot force yourself. If you do force yourself to change into what this person wants you to be, I have news for you. He will always find something to pick on.
Yeah.
He will always find something to suppress you, because that's what he needs. He needs it because he has low self-esteem, because he himself feels inferior than everybody else. And to feel better, he needs to suppress you. He needs to push you down.
She does.
So guess what? Now that you're learning and that your eyes are opening, you have the choice in your hands to go for happiness, to be with someone that loves the way you are, exactly the way you are, because compromising in a relationship doesn't mean changing who you are. It's little things that are easy to move around, like little pieces of a puzzle. You understand?
Very much
So
so.
don't focus on maybe I should have, maybe I can, maybe I can do what he wants and things then will be different and will be better. It's not going to work.
Hey, Anu,
There always be a problem.
I wanted to add something as well. Anu, you said something specific, which was that when he was talking, you were talking over him, right? You were like,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
okay. So,
But because of what she said, I'm Spanish and I'm always loud, always have been. I was always happy about it. I always loved who I was. Just an empath, just a good, trusting person. But yeah, that person shut me down.
okay, but is it possible that you tried to talk over him because you were fed up with
Yes,
their behavior?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so
That's another one.
that's kind of like
Yeah.
like retaliation. And because when a narcissistic brings someone down constantly, you will say to yourself, enough is enough.
Yes.
And you will fight back just to be able to challenge him. And that's why you're subconsciously, you were having this kind of behavior. So in a way, it was just going to be constant fight. Like Yani, you would agree that when two people argue, the reason why the decibels goes up is because both of them want to be heard. So one will yell, the other one will yell louder and louder and louder, and then it becomes just a war. But if you bring it down and you do the complete opposite of what the other person does, they will not have any reason to raise their voice. Unless if you have the culture, and then you'll speak louder. So
you know what? You need to, someone said to me after my terrible relationship with the narcissist, someone said to me, your partner needs to be your fan number one. If your partner is not your fan number one, it will never work. Not the way that you want, and not the happiness that you deserve. You want to have a fan number one. He loves everything about you.
On a triad. Yeah.
And you can find that, just like I did. And now I'm happy and he's miserable.
and that's the way to go. Any other question before we close the seminar? No? So I would like to thank each and everyone for attending today. Again, thank you, Yani, for sharing your extensive knowledge in the field of traumatic and toxic relationship. Again, also, we will be having the final part 3 on February 25th. You guys will receive notification by email. And we would love to see all of you attend for the last session. Also you, Andrea. Hopefully the last session will be able to cover some topic that might arise some interest to you. But again, everyone, thanks to all for attending tonight. I hope that our information was really valuable. And like I said, Yani and I always constantly find new information to be able to share with everyone.
You need a personal trainer for love to help you brand yourself
accurately. Right. Thank you all. Thank you both.
The right kinds of messages.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Have yourself a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.